Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the state of artificial intelligence as it stands in 2026. Because by now, the conversation has moved way beyond just hype and into the practical and sometimes pretty invisible realities of our world.
You know, this quote from futurist Ian Kahn, it just nails the big idea we're talking about today. By 2026, AI isn't really a tool you have to consciously use anymore. It's more like an invisible utility, something that's constantly shaping your environment for you. Okay, let's dive into what that actually means.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get a handle on what this invisible AI really is. Then, we're going to see it in action completely reshaping some major industries. We'll also walk through the step-by-step plan companies are using to get there, look at the new rules and risks this power creates, and finally, we'll peek over the horizon at what's next. AI that doesn't just think, but actually acts.
All right, first things first, let's establish the new baseline. What does AI actually feel like to use in 2026?
Yeah, we're not talking about some big, flashy AI app you have to open up anymore. The real value is showing up in what are called ambient features. This is intelligence that's woven so deep into the software we already use every day that it just subtly changes our habits. It suggests things, it summarizes long documents, it drafts emails, and it routes information, all happening seamlessly, quietly in the background.
Okay, so where is all this ambient intelligence actually showing up and making a real difference? Let's take a look at how it's already shaking things up in three huge sectors: finance, healthcare, and manufacturing. In finance, AI is an absolute game changer. It's digging through mountains of data to find hidden patterns for algorithmic trading. And in compliance, get this. AI systems are cutting down the false positives in anti-money laundering checks by a staggering 60 to 70%. And of course, chatbots, like Bank of America's Erica, are now handling the vast majority of simple customer questions. And this right here illustrates the core strategy perfectly. See, a place like Goldman Sachs, they aren't trying to replace their traders with AI. No way. They're using it as a cognitive multiplier, a way to amplify what their best people can do, letting a single analyst dig into way more complex data than ever before. It's all about augmentation, not just automation. But in healthcare? Wow. The impact is just massive. We've got predictive models that can forecast the progression for over 1,000 different conditions. In medical imaging, AI is now spotting 64% of brain lesions that human radiologists had previously missed. And in the lab, it's just turbocharging the process of discovering new drugs.
And then you've got manufacturing, where the story is all about efficiency. By using AI to predict when a piece of equipment is about to fail, companies are slashing their unplanned downtime by 30 to 50%. That saves millions of dollars and just keeps those production lines humming.
So yeah, from Wall Street to the factory floor, these results are pretty incredible, right? But they don't just happen by accident. So how do companies actually make this stuff a reality? Well, it's not magic. It's a very structured journey.
Look, you don't just flip a switch and get these kinds of results. There's a playbook, a really clear 6-step process that successful companies follow. It starts with a really honest assessment, moves carefully through pilot projects, and only then does it scale up. It's all about building a solid foundation before you go all in.
And get this, the payoff isn't just about saving money. What's so interesting here is that the number one benefit, the one that 64% of companies pointed to, wasn't efficiency, it was innovation. This is what happens when you let AI handle the grunt work, the data analysis or code generation. It frees up your human teams to focus on creative problem solving and big picture strategy. You're not just doing things faster, you're finding entirely new ways of doing things.
Okay, but it's not all smooth sailing, right? As AI gets more powerful and gets baked into everything we do, it's starting to create some new, pretty sophisticated challenges.
For a while, the race was all about building bigger and more powerful models. But that's not the real problem anymore. A completely new bottleneck has shown up. And that bottleneck? It's something called verification. See, real progress, real intelligence, only truly advances when you can trust the answers you're getting, when you can check them and correct them. Without that feedback loop of certainty, you just hit a wall. It's one thing for an AI to sound smart. It's another thing entirely to prove it's right. And this whole obsession with trust and verification, well, it's kicking off a huge wave of new laws all across the United States. We're seeing this growing patchwork of rules at the state level, from California making companies publish safety details to Colorado fighting discrimination in AI systems. It's creating a really complex new landscape for everyone to navigate. So really, here's the bottom line. The most effective workflows out there today are the ones that understand AI's limits. They let AI do what it's great at, cranking out first drafts, brainstorming ideas, handling repetitive tasks, but they always rely on that irreplaceable human judgment for the final review, the big strategic calls, and, most importantly, for verifying the facts.
All right, this all leads us to our final big topic. And honestly, it's the trend that's really starting to change everything. AI that doesn't just analyze, but actually autonomously acts.
We're talking about agentic AI. These are autonomous systems that can chase after complex goals all on their own. So what does that actually mean? Well, think about it like this. Instead of telling an AI, write 5 subject lines for an email, you give an AI agent a goal like, launch our new marketing campaign. It would then go and research competitors, draft the ad copy, figure out a budget, deploy the whole thing, and just check in with you for approval at key moments.
I mean, this is the next massive leap for automation. We're shifting from AI as a tool that just answers our questions to AI as a genuine partner that can manage entire workflows from start to finish. For businesses, this means systems that can plan, execute, and optimize whole processes all by themselves.
And that, of course, leaves us with a really big, kind of scary question. As our role shifts from doing the work to just overseeing these autonomous agents, who is ultimately held accountable when things go wrong? Our legal and ethical rulebooks, they are about to be challenged like never before.